A responsive crosshair can instantly make your shooter feel more polished and more professional. In this video, we build a dynamic crosshair system step by step using Unreal Engine. We start by repositioning the camera so the crosshair is clearly visible in a third-person setup, and then we add a custom crosshair using textures you can download from the link in the description. Later on, we'll expand this foundation by animating the crosshair when aiming. This work is part of Gameverse, a third-person shooter we are creating completely from scratch. Even though this video stands on its own, you can follow the entire process of building this game on this channel. The full playlist is linked in the description. This is the Game Creator Accelerator channel, and I am Tony Munoz. Like, subscribe, comment, share it, and ring the bell so you don't miss future Unreal Engine tutorials or videos about strategy and methodology to build a successful path in the gaming industry. And if you want to go a step further, visit woolen.com to learn more about my mentorship program. This is your opportunity to start a new path in the gaming industry from zero, even after office hours. You'll find the link in the description, along with the option to chat with me one-on-one and see if this is the right step for you. Now, let's get started. Let's begin this section by presenting what we have at this moment. So our character is shooting, and it is in the center of the screen, and we don't have any crosshair. And this is the two things we're going to change. We're going to move the position of the camera, and at the same time, we are going to create an animated crosshair. First step, let's change the position of the characters. So I'm going to open the shooter character file in C++. I will go to the implementation file, which is the shooter character.cpp inside the A shooter character. In other words, I'm getting into the constructor. The first parameter I want to change is the get character movement, B orientation rotation to movement. I want it to be false. Now the character won't rotate to the direction of the movement. Second, I want to change the controller rotation. The yaw is the only one that I want in true. The pitch and the roll will be false. The next thing is I'm going to change the camera boom position. And for that, I will use camera boom socket offset equals to a vector. The value I'm going to set by default will be the 50/70, and I'm going to test it until I find exactly what I'm looking for. And the other thing is that I want this character, the camera, to be closer to the character. 400 at this moment is too far away, so I'm going to move it to 200. Now save, and let's test this. In Unreal, let's compile, and now let's check the values that we changed a moment ago. Compile for the shooter-based character, and let's check the target arm. Right now is 400 because we set this value here, and I want to change it to 200. But if you're going to create a new character in the future, then it will be set by default using this class in 200. As you can see, now the camera is closer to the character. Let's go to the socket offset, and remember that we set it in 50 and 70. Let's do it again, 50 and 70. So now the camera is moved in reference to the right of the player. And finally, let's look for the use controller. And you can see here that the one that we have as true is the pitch. The only one I want as true is the yaw. So let's remove or uncheck the pitch. Now let's compile, save, and test it. Excellent. Now the character is moved a little bit to the left. And as you can see, the distance from the camera to the character is shorter. And if I move to the right, or if I move to the left or to the right, you will see that the character is not turning in that direction. The rest stays as it is. And if I use the yaw, you also see that the camera is not turning around the character. The character is turning with the camera. Perfect. The second step is creating the HUD. So I get into my folder that is called Games, and I will add a new folder that I will name HUD. Open HUD, and inside HUD, let's add a new folder named Textures. Open Textures, and inside that one, a new folder that we call Crosshairs, and open the folder. This is an address for a group of textures that we are going to use to create this crosshair. It is public, you can download it from here. GitHub Tony Woolen Crosshair. Go to Code and select Download Zip. Once the zip is downloaded, right-click, Extract All, and extract. In this folder, get end until you find the assets. Select all these PNGs and drag them inside the Crosshair folder in your Unreal project. Now we have to make some adjustments to every one of them in order to use them in the HUD. Open one of them, for example, the bottom crosshair. To the right, select the Mid-Gen settings, click the arrow and select No MIP Maps. In the texture group, select UI. In the compression settings, confirm that you have the BC1 or BC3, and also that the sRGB is checked. After you completed these steps, save and close. And now repeat the same thing for the rest of the textures. You can pause the video here, repeat the process, and then go back. These 5 textures represent 1 point for the bottom of the crosshair, 1 for the left, 1 for the right, and 1 from the top, and 1 that has all the elements. I want to animate these elements independently, and that's why I have to differentiate them in 4 different positions: top, bottom, left, and right. Thinking a little bit better, because the textures are part of the assets, I'm going to move this entire folder inside my assets folder. So drag it inside assets folder and move here. Now, in the HUD folder, I want to start creating my blueprint of a HUD. So right-click, select Blueprint class, and in all classes, look for HUD, H-U-D, and select this option that says HUD. Select. Let's name it Playing HUD BP. And because this is the HUD that I am planning to use for my game, then I have to set it in the game mode. Open the folder in the game mode, open your game mode, and you will see that we have a HUD class inside classes. Click this arrow and select your new HUD, the Playing HUD BP. Compile and save and close. Now that I have my blueprint, I also need to create the HUD that this blueprint is going to control. That is a widget, a user widget. So back in the HUD folder, right-click, select Blueprint class, and in all classes, look for User Widget. Select this one at the bottom, and then select. Let's rename it WBP for Widget Blueprint Crosshair. That means that this is the widget I'm going to control using this blueprint. That's why it's important to have them both in the same folder. It's logical to have them here. Open the HUD blueprint and go to the event graph. As soon as this is loaded, I want to create this crosshair widget. So drag an arrow from the event begin play and look for Create Widget. Select this one. Let's move it to the top. And in the class, select your widget. In this case, the widget blueprint crosshair. From the owning player, right-click and select Get Owning Player Controller and connect it here. And now that I create the crosshair, I have to add it to the screen or to the viewport. For that, drag from here and add to viewport, select it, and connect the returned value. This will work okay. But for the future, I also need the crosshair widget. So I'm going to create a variable to save this information of the crosshair so I don't have to recover it every time. Click on the Add and select Variable. Let's call this one Crosshair Widget. And the type of this variable will be, as you can imagine, WBP Crosshair and select Object Reference. Now let's make the changes. I'm going to drag the crosshair widget to set, and I'm going to connect the exit from the crosshair widget to here, and I'm going to assign the value to this one. I will remove this connection and move these elements a little bit. This will be connected here. And for the viewport, now I can also use the crosshair widget, the get, and connect it here. You can also connect this one directly, but this notation is a little bit more explicit. And after all, this variable is already set. The other thing I want to change is in the set order, select, let's say, 10. This will ensure that this widget will be over any other widget that we could add later. Now compile and save. I want to let you know that this channel is part of a bigger journey called the Game Creator Accelerator Lifetime Mentorship. It is built specifically for someone with limited time who needs direct guidance to build a solid path in the gaming industry. The goal is a measurable transformation into a game creator, not just watching tutorials, not just collecting notes or certifications, but building proof through learning technical skills with direction, creating projects to develop your skills, and using proven strategies and methodologies to set up a brand for yourself and your creations. You and I work together to build your Unreal Engine games, learn core principles and how to solve challenges, and grow your social media presence to share your work with studios, publishers, recruiters, and players. This is the same approach successful indie creators use, myself included. But unlike me, you don't have to learn it the hard way. Today, learning in isolation, submitting applications, or developing without leaving a mark doesn't work. You go by creating, sharing, and making opportunities come to you, not chasing them backwards. The GCA mentorship will help you transition to the work of your dreams without jeopardizing your current circumstances. If you want to learn more, visit woolen.com and schedule a one-on-one chat with me. The link is in the description. The next step is creating the widget. So let's go back to Map 1 and open the widget blueprint. Inside the widget blueprint, look for Canvas Panel and drag it inside the WBP crosshair. Now look for a size box and drag it inside the canvas. And look again for another canvas and drag it inside the size box. For the first canvas panel, you don't have to do anything. For the size box, anchor in the center, the positions will be 0 and 0, and the size will be 256, 256, which are perfect for the size of the texture that I provided you. And in the alignment, select 0.5 and 0.5. This will place the size box in the center. For the next canvas, you don't need to do anything. But now we're going to start adding our images. So drag an image inside the canvas panel and then Command D to repeat it 3 times. Let's rename these ones. The first one, I'm going to name it Image Top. Second, Image Bottom. The third, click here, Image Left. And the last one will be, as you can imagine, Image Right. The next steps, you can do it image by image, or you can select all images to set the anchors and alignment. So what I'll do is select them all. Click the first one, keep the shift down, and click the last one. The anchors will be in the center. By the way, you can check the details of the anchors clicking here in this arrow. The position will be 0, 0. And the alignment will be 0.5, 0.5. Don't pay attention at this moment to the offset, right and bottom. Now we have to select every image independently. So let's start with the image top. Click on the brush, and in the image, click on this arrow and look for the image T crosshair. Here we have it. For the bottom will be something similar, but B crosshair. Now the left, L crosshair, and right will be right crosshair. Notice now that the offset parameters changed to size parameters. Select every one of the images separated and pick the size of 100 by 100. Image bottom, 100 by 100, left, 100 by 100, and right, 100 by 100. If you go close, using the control and the wheel of the mouse, you can see the images for all the crosshair components. Let's compile and save. And now let's play our game. And here you can see we have our crosshair in the middle of the screen. Excellent. At this point, you've seen how to create and place a crosshair built from 4 independent images using widgets and the HUD blueprint class. We also reposition the camera so you can see clearly your character and the target you're aiming at. In the next video, we'll take this further. We'll implement the enhanced input system, add the C++ logic needed to react to the aiming events, and finally bringing everything together by animating the crosshair smoothly when those events happen. So like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell to be notified as soon as the new content is released. And if you're serious about changing your path and entering the gaming industry, even while keeping your day job, visit woolen.com to learn more about my mentorship program. The link is in the description. Until next time, keep creating, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep dreaming big. I'll see you soon, my fellow creators.